Morbid facts that will give you nightmares. When a prisoner is electrocuted in an electric chair, they can feel absolutely everything. They are fully aware that their body is being fried in real time, and one prisoner that survived said he actually smelled and tasted like cold peanut butter. Human corpses decompose 4 times faster in water than underground, and 8 times faster if left in the open air. It takes around 359 humans to have enough iron to forge a sword from their blood. Just about 3,000 people go missing every single year in the US. The last execution by guillotine was in 1977 in France. That was exactly the same year that the first Star Wars movie came out.
Gruesome Facts You Didn't Know, Part 42. This is a custom 3-person coffin that was ordered by a couple who lost their infant child. Absolutely distraught with grief, they planned to take their own lives so all 3 could be buried together. Ultimately, they backed out of doing this and never came to pick up the coffin. If you're ever in Houston, you can check it out at the National Museum of Funeral History. Everyone knows Dr. Seuss and his books, but his personal life was pretty grim. While his wife Helen was dying of a rare disorder, he was cheating on her with a woman that was friends with both of them. She was so heartbroken by this that she took her own life, and within just 1 year, he married his mistress.
Even more morbid facts. Drowning in fresh water is not the same as drowning in salt water, because when you drown in salt water, you're basically drowning on your own fluids. Countess Elizabeth Bathory was a murderer who used to bathe in her victims' blood to help retain her youth and beauty. If a loved one passes, you do not have to send them to a funeral home. In fact, it's perfectly legal to load them up and take them home and just have the funeral there. That is actually how it has been done for centuries. In about 2 hours after you die, your eyes begin to fog up, and they progressively get more and more foggy within the next 2 days. When you are embalmed, your body is completely drained of its blood. What happens to all that blood? It goes down the drain.
6.
Morbid facts about World War I that will give you nightmares. During the First World War, Canadians were obsessed about killing Germans, and many of them went against the truce laws by pretending to show mercy to those who surrendered, only to change their mind later on and shoot them unknowingly. During the war, sometimes soldiers would throw cans of food over trenches, so the starving soldiers would rush to grab the canned food, but little did they know that grenades were waiting for them as well. In the northeastern part of France, there are still some areas that are off limits to the public because they are still full of unexploded chemicals such as mustard gas and many others.
So I'm reading this biography on Vincent van Gogh, and the more that I learn about this dude, the more that I'm like, yeah, no wonder he's so messed up. Like, so he wasn't the first Vincent in his family. He wasn't even the first Vincent out of the rest of his siblings. A year to the day before he was born, his parents had a stillborn child by the name of Vincent van Gogh. They buried him at the local church, right? A year rolls around, and our Vincent gets born. And they just kept the same name for him. I want you to imagine on your birthday, in order to celebrate your existence, you go to a cemetery and you see your own mother putting flowers on a gravestone with your name on it. No wonder he cut his ear off.
Gruesome Facts You Didn't Know, Part 45. Imagine if your dentist took out all your teeth. Back in 2012, that is exactly what happened to this man, Christopher Christ. He went to an Indianapolis dentist to just have 3 teeth removed. Yet he ended up leaving with none. Biting your nails is dirty, but can also be very deadly. There are more cases than you would believe of people developing paronychia and sepsis due to nail biting. In 2016, elevator maintenance men were returning to work after a month-long break for Chinese New Year, when they made quite a gruesome discovery. Due to gross negligence, a woman was trapped for the entire month and starved to death inside of the elevator.
Fun fact about space. In the last video, we discussed something that could kill you if it entered the solar system. In this video, we will be discussing something that could kill you from over 100,000 light years away. And what's even more horrifying is that you wouldn't even see it coming. So if you know anything about space, you know what a black hole is. It's a really dense singularity which destroys everything it touches. Horrifying, right? But how can it kill you from over 100,000 light years away? Well, I'm about to tell you how. If you've ever looked up an image of a black hole, you may have seen one with these little rays coming out of the poles. What these are gamma rays, which are the most dangerous wavelength on the entire electromagnetic spectrum. Oh, but Stefan, why are gamma rays so dangerous? Let me tell you why. Gamma rays are the smallest wavelength on the entire electromagnetic spectrum, which means that they can penetrate essentially any form of matter. If you were to be hit by a gamma ray, it would penetrate your cells on the atomic level and cause ionizing disruptions, which could eventually lead to the destruction of the cell itself. And any cell that isn't completely destroyed by this process would eventually mutate into cancer. Going back to the black hole gamma ray bursts, their energy is equivalent to gathering all of the stars within a 100 million light year radius and focusing their energy into a single precise beam. If a gamma ray burst within 50,000 parsecs, which is about 163,000 light years, were to ever be directed at our planet, that beam would vaporize us at the atomic level instantly. And keep in mind that the diameter of the Milky Way galaxy is only about 105,000 light years, so any gamma ray burst directed at us within our own galaxy would kill us instantly. Something to think about is the fact that gamma rays move at the speed of light. So if one were to ever be directed at us, we would never know until it hit us. But we wouldn't know that it hit us because we would be vaporized instantly. So think about that while you're trying to fall asleep tonight.